Tom and I have some serious fucking beef going on. We're both in the tiny calf gang. But the one thing you'll notice about my calves, Tom, do you mind putting your calves in frame so we can just get a side-by-side? I would really... Let's see if you can get your foot up there. My hip's going to cramp. Oh, my hip's actually cramping. For those of you listening, dude, if you're able to watch this, please let us know who has the bigger calves.
How much, Donovan?
You sound fucking fantastic. I honestly miss hearing your voice, so it sounds extra nice to me right now.
I know, dude. We didn't see each other all summer. That was so weird when we were texting during World Champs, and you were like, "Oh yeah, I forgot you were on the team."
Well, I'll be honest. I did not forget you were on the team. You were heavily missed. Yeah. Okay. Wait. So, what up, dude? I'm here with Thomas Jaeschke, tallest podcast on earth. I feel like I have to say that as an intro, but realistically, I don't, dude. You know, if you're listening to this, you're listening, you already know those things. So why do it? I just feel obligated to do it. But guess what, dude? You're right. Like we were saying before, we took separate time off this summer and we completely missed each other. And in many ways, did we completely miss each other? You know, I'm saying that based on how much I truly missed you.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. It was a bummer. I mean, you took time off really for your foot, right? To try and get healthy and kind of get right so you could, continue playing because you were in a pretty bad place, right? With your foot.
Dude, it's hard. Yeah, I've had plantar fasciitis for the last like couple years and it's like on and off, you know, sometimes it's fine. Sometimes it's like super bothering me. And actually at the end of my season, it was like not super bad, but I just didn't want to, I wanted to give it the time it needed because the goal is, you know, the Olympics in 2024. And so I was like, all right, if there's a time to take a little bit of a summer off, which honestly in my position, there's never time to take time off. But I was like, I just got to do what's best for my health. So that's what I did.
Well, I was going to say also, dude, like, yeah, there's never a good time, but that's, I think part of the problem with what we do is there's just never a good time. And I think we always prioritize like the next practice and the next match when a lot of times you do need to do that stuff for your mental health and like for your physical health. I think for me, after the Olympics last summer, I took a month off and then I had my best professional season. And I attribute a lot of that to taking a month off and just kind of resetting and being ready to go again, because the way we do it, we just kind of get lulled into this sense of when's my next practice, when's the next game, and then there's really no thinking involved.
We're just slabs of meat, dude.
Yeah, dude, they just use us like dogs. No,
it's true, dude.
Oh yeah, so you have to be an advocate for yourself and make those hard decisions because at least from my perspective, probably when you made that decision, you might have been like, oh, I wonder like what the guys are going to think. Because I definitely thought that when I took time off this summer, I was like, I don't want to, the guys to feel like I'm, taking a step back and prioritizing myself over the team because that's not really what it is. But sometimes you do need to do that to prioritize the team in the long term. So.
Yeah, truth be told, I was just selfish as fuck. And that's how I've in some way been, dude, because look, here's the truth, dude, is like, it's hard to say no. It's hard to say no to the national team. It's hard to say, we have knee pain and you're in a pro season and you're like, if I could have everything my way, I probably wouldn't play this game or I wouldn't practice today because like my knees just feels like super inflamed or whatever it is, It's hard to say no as a player. And sometimes we need coaches and people telling you no because they know what's best for your long-term health and they understand that a season is 8 months. That's just not the case. And so I've, for the most part, it's like, then I have to be my own daddy. And that's what I end up doing, dude. That's why we're all daddies, It's like, that's what you got to do for me, at least ultimately. So it's like, you're in a bit of a different position, like, especially as an outside, like, damn, we need you. Like we need someone with your skill level on the outside for sure. But for me, I was like, dude, we have so many good middles right now. It's like, it's not like the team is going to be like, oh, I'm a huge piece of this team. It's all over if I don't show up. So I'm like, yo, I would love to be there, but I got to do what's best for me. And so eventually that's what I did. And to your point too, with mental health, that was definitely a part of it. Like, I do long distance, right now, like I do a long distance relationship. And so it's fucking hard when you only see each other like maybe a couple weeks out of that 8-month period. And it's like, yo, if we're going to commit to like the next couple of years, especially like running for the Olympics, it's like, let's try to get as much time as we can. So it kind of lined up where it was like, I think this is what's best for my foot. Could I have played? Maybe, but I'm happy I took the time off. It was good for my brain. And the nice part is when you kind of give yourself that reset, you come back with this like new quench, this new thirst for like wanting to play volleyball. You fucking miss it. I fucking missed it. I was like, oh fuck yeah, like that the kid inside you that misses and loves what you get to do for a living, like it comes out more.
Take some time off. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
for
bro.
sure. You're like, there's different energy in the gym when it's the first day after a couple months or a month off versus month 8 in a row with never more than 2 days off the whole time. But also like like you said, we have coaches being like, we want you here, and there's never a good time. And especially this quad, because the Olympics got pushed back a year. Normally the summer after the Olympics, that first summer of each quad is kind of like a down summer, or there's a lot of transition. There's a lot of kind of guys coming in and out. And we didn't really have that this year because we just didn't have the time. I mean, dude, it's just world champs. Like next summer's World Cup, and then that's it, right? Like then it's the Olympics. And so yeah, kind of to your point, who I was talking to is your boy, your daddy, Matteo Piano last year. And
I got a lot of daddies out there, so.
And I was like kind of telling him what I thought, and he was like, dude, fuck everyone, just do whatever is best for you. Like no one really cares. You just gotta do things for yourself. I mean, if it's important to you, then they'll understand. And so I guess, yeah, kind of for people who don't know, I took half the summer off here to finish my degree. So I just graduated from college, and I wasn't able.
You got it with you?
Dude, I haven't even seen it. It's at my parents' house in Colorado. I still haven't even seen it. I got an email one day, and it was like, you graduated. Like,
sick.
All right, sweet. Yeah.
Print that email out. Put that fucker on the fridge. I see all those fridge magnets back there.
Fuck, dude. So, yeah, and then I couldn't go to World Champs. Just like the timing didn't match up. It was like the day I finished school, the team left. And I mean, as you know, you can't just go from not playing for a month and a half to playing in a bunch of matches in a row. I would for sure injure myself. Anyone would injure themselves, but me personally would 100% injure myself.
So, okay, wait. Stop right there, because there's so many places I love that I want to take this conversation. But what did you get a degree in?
Finance.
Oh, degree in Bitcoin, huh?
Dude. Yeah. So,
do you want to give me some unsolicited financial advice?
I mean, no, I'm not Jeff Gendrick here, just like tossing stuff on my Instagram story. But
hey, but if you had to though, if like you had to give me some advice right now, what would you say? Here, let me start off the conversation. I'll tell you right now. I invest in index fund, S&P.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's pretty smart, right?
Yeah, that's smart. And then, yeah, I mean, that's just going to go with the market. You probably don't want to heavily invest too much into one company, percentage wise of your portfolio. And then as you start to have more money available, you just kind of want to diversify from, if you want to go to index funds, you want to go to real estate, like different things. But yeah, things that are going to mirror the market. I think my next step in life is probably real estate, because I have, a lot of my time in the stock market. But I would like to get some money into real estate here. Like guys on the team have houses and stuff, and I'd like to start doing that.
Dude, I definitely feel that. Did they talk about NFTs at all?
No, we talked a little bit about crypto, but it was more like a digitalized central bank. So if the U.S. government were to create a crypto that was 1-to-1 with the dollar, but it was backed by the central bank. It wasn't. There is one out. I think it's called like the USD coin, but it's not backed by the central bank. It mirrors the dollar, but there's no backing. Whereas what we were talking about is how would it look if the central bank backed a US cryptocurrency, and so then bank transfers, or essentially like Venmo, all that stuff would just be like a cryptocurrency is now, where there would be no Venmo, you wouldn't have to have a bank account. It would just, everything would be tied to your name.
I mean, the idea of a decentralized bank is a good idea, right?
I mean, in theory, it has a lot of positives, but then, I mean, like the obvious question is inflation, and like how would the Fed handle that? How would they control inflation? Like that's kind of the big question, is if it if it's not a physical dollar, then you know things could, in theory, get out of hand quickly. And we talked about how money used to be backed and connected to gold, and once it got disconnected from gold, inflation just went way up. So it's kind of just like one more step in that direction. And so that step would be just really hard to control. I mean, the Fed doesn't print money, but they control interest rates and things like that. But if money isn't real and it's just something on this blockchain, it would, if they just kept putting more and more into the system, you could understand how
Money's
it would just.
not real, Tom. What are you talking about, bro? Well, you talked a little bit about how you talked with my boy Matteo Piano, which I love. I love that guy, dude. He is like, I want to call him one of my closest friends. It's just been hard because it's hard to stay in contact with people who are all over the place, all over the world. But man, I just really, really love him so much. And you were talking also about like what I'm really curious too is like, okay, this summer it didn't work out because you were getting your degree. And in your mind, you're like, well, if there's a summer to get my degree, like this is it. Were you like almost done with your degree? You only had like what, a couple classes left maybe?
Yeah. So I had 3 classes total. And basically at Loyola, if you aren't enrolled for a semester or you aren't taking a class, if you don't take a class the semester after, you get unenrolled. And then when you re-enroll, if any classes have been added to the curriculum since you started to now they're also in your curriculum. So I'd unenrolled and then re-enrolled 2 or 3 times since I left school. And so
you have to pay to do that?
You don't know. You don't have to pay, but when they add classes, you have to pay for more classes. So
yeah,
last spring I took a class when I was in Verona. I took last summer and then the fall off. And then this past spring when I was in Milan, I took an Italian class just because I needed an elective. And then I only left 3 classes. And so I did, it was a business administration class. The first part of summer when I was with Team USA, I was taking 1 class, and my last 2 were in person, and I had to be here. And so there was just kind of no way around it. And it was like, if I unenrolled again, they were going to add like 3 or 4 more classes. And I just felt like I kind of was getting put behind the 8 ball and just fucking myself. And if I didn't do it now, I didn't know when I would do it because there's no good time. But I talked to some.
But you didn't graduate?
No, I did.
Okay, so this was a master's then?
No. This was my finance degree, but because maybe I explained it poorly, but I had 3 classes left after this past spring semester, right? And so
but I'm saying you graduated like a long time ago, right?
Oh no, dude! I left school a year early to turn pro.
People don't know that, Tom. And quite honestly, I forgot. So
you definitely should know that. No,
I should know that, dude. I'm a terrible friend. We already know that.
I left early. I left a year early. That. Yeah, and so I've been kind of chipping away, and then they were like,
wait, hold on. You left because I think it's an interesting thing to talk about. I think like you left a year early to go play pro. What was that a tough decision for you?
Yeah, man. And looking back on it, I think I would have made the Olympic team even if I stayed in college. It was me, it was Taylor Sander, Aaron Russell, Reed Pretty, who just came back from his ACL, me, and then Paul Ottman was our 5th guy. And I thought even if I stayed in college, I could have beat him out, Paul Ottman. But at the time, I didn't know. But we had just won 2 national championships. And, there was nothing left to win in college. And I wanted to make the Olympic team, and I wanted to put myself in the best position. So that's kind of the conversation after my junior year. I was playing on Team USA, traveling with the senior team. And it kind of just seemed like the right thing to do if I was going to pursue this career in volleyball. And so we were playing in World League, which was VNL at the time. And we were playing in Poland. And I had a really good match. And then I got an offer from Asseco Resovia right after that. And so that was kind of, I was school was paid for. I essentially had a full ride at that point. You know, I worked my way up for my senior year, and school was 50 grand, and so I kind of had a number in my head where it was like it wouldn't make sense because I'm kind of almost being paid 50 grand to play at Loyola, and then
Kinda.
yeah, no, I know, but if I got an offer for 50 grand, I would be like, well, I could just stay and go to school and finish my degree
Yeah.
and be with my friend. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I kind of had a number in
Yeah.
my head about what would be reasonable for me to leave.
Talking about
And,
the 6-digit club.
yeah,
Daddy's still hunting for that 6-digit club, baby. So
yeah, the 6-digit club, yeah, for sure. So
yeah.
I got, and I didn't know anything about pro volleyball at the time, and so I had interest from actually Modena, but it was not the 6-digit club, and so I was like, that just doesn't really make sense for me. I also didn't know Modena was sweet. I didn't know they were one of the top teams in the best league in the world. I knew nothing. And then Rusovia came with this offer, and Lotman had played there. And, all the guys on the team. I mean, now we know what Secco Rusovia is. And so, like, looking back as far as the first club to go to, what a treat, for me. How lucky did I get? But
For sure.
I was just some fucking dumb.
For those of you who don't know, Modena is like one of the best clubs in Italy, and Resovia is like one of the best clubs in Poland. And Poland and Italy is the NBA for men's volleyball.
Yeah, and I would say both clubs are probably like the most storied, right? Like,
yeah, for sure.
And I didn't play in Modena, but yeah, playing in Rusovia, I didn't realize like the quality of players that had come through, the quality of the league and the fans. I just didn't understand at the time much as a kid. And honestly, it was a good thing because there was more pressure in that club than I realized. My teammates would all stress about it, and I was like, I don't have the clue what you guys were talking about.
Dude, isn't that kind of nice? That's so funny. Like, dude, even my first year playing in Italy, I was lucky enough to go from college to go play in the Italian league, and I played for Padova. And my first year, I finished the year third best scorer for middles. And a big part, in my opinion, to a lot of that success that I had a great setter, also in a sick, fun team. But I didn't know anyone. I was going up against legends, and I had fucking no idea who they were. So I just had this, like, no one knows me. Who cares? Like, it's such an advantage where it's like, no one knows this guy, and you don't really know who you're playing against. It's so different when you're like playing against guys that you really respect or you really know and they're capable of. It's like when you don't know shit, it's like almost a huge advantage.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and now we're adults. We're daddies in this volleyball world. So now we know.
Right, we are, dude. We earned that right too. We earned it.
Oh man,
that's
so
how
you doing. What's going on in Poland?
Wait, no. This is not about. This is not. We'll get there. We'll get there. Wait. We'll get there. I was when you were talking about the national team and how you went, how when you were a junior in college you were with the senior team. I'm so curious to hear from you how you think like the USA program has developed, because like for example we had Mason Briggs, who was my roommate at World Champs. And I was just like, dude, he's 21. Like that, I'm 30. I'm not like that old yet, but still I was just like, wow, dude. And he's just different. He's just 20. He's 21-year-old. And I was just thinking like, what was that experience like for you just being the baby amongst all them daddies?
Yeah. Well, it was way different for me because we had a big group of guys that came in that period, right? So the summer before me, I think was Taylor Sander and Micah's first summer, and then and even Eric Shoji was new that quad. It was Rich Lamborn before that quad. I think it's the starter, and now Eric Shoji is the starter. And then Taylor and Micah come in, and then Ron and I come in, and I feel like I'm missing someone, but
here's what you need to know: our recruiting class had fucking ballers, bro.
Yeah.
Like you and I think we're within a year of each other, and we had so many good players come out of that year.
Yeah, it's really your class. My class didn't have a lot, but I do feel like we had a bigger contingency of young guys. Whereas right now, Mason coming on the team, right? Like he's the youngest by 4 or 5 years. He has no experience professionally, and so I think we were more comfortable, or I felt more comfortable because I felt like there was a group that was kind of coming and taking spots from guys on the national team and earning those spots, and so it was a little bit different. But I mean, my first summer, I just trained with the national team, and then my second summer, I traveled when I was after my junior year, and I was pretty quiet as far as like, different to how I am now on the national team. I was not a vocal leader, and I'm a pretty vocal person. I feel like I'm pretty competitive. I'm not afraid to get fired up. I mean, you know that, but
I
like,
don't know when to shut the fuck up. Is what's going on. I was just kidding.
but yeah, no, I feel like I was pretty quiet, like kind of put my head down and just tried to do my thing and help the team. And the guys, the older guys, I have to give them a lot of credit. I mean, you know how it is walking the gym the first day. It's like, Matt Anderson, Dave Lee, Max Holt. I mean, even Dave Smith, Murphy. I mean, guys who you've heard about and you don't know personally at all. And then you walk in day one, and all those guys, they introduced themselves to me because I wouldn't have introduced myself to them. And yeah, going from there to then being with them in the Olympics, I mean, essentially like 14 months later, I felt like we really grew as a team, and we had a really good group. And what I liked about the group in the 16 Olympics was everyone did their job super hard and kind of understood their role. Me, I was like a guy off the bench that would come and give energy and try and score points and lock down passing. But when it was game time, I wasn't sitting there bitching about not starting. Like, that's not what it was about, especially at the Olympics. Like we're there to try and win. And so I felt like every guy was kind of like that, and I learned that from them. It's not like I was like, oh, I'm going to do this because it's my idea. It's like, oh no, I'm watching the best guys in the world put their head down and work and know their role and try and help the team. And so that was like something I learned from them. But I think I was able to feel so comfortable kind of coming back just because we had such a big group. And I mean, me and Ron are boys. Like, that's my fucking buddy. And having him as one of my best friends to this day with me through that whole period, it's a big transition period in life. And so having good friends along the way made it much more comfortable too.
Hmm. Well, what I think is really interesting is like, I think right when I came in around like, and I was, again, I mean, I started as the eighth middle, I had so many legends ahead of me, like Russ Holmes, D Lee, Dave Smith, Max Holt, like guys that are just like already been in the Olympics, just like already have a name for themselves.
Yeah.
But I remember when I was coming in, it felt like there was like a mild culture shift, like at least from stories I heard. So I'm curious, maybe if you actually got to experience a little more of that, just like guys being more hard on each other, and it's in some way, like, for lack of a better term, it's like things have gotten softer. And in some ways I think it's healthy, but in other ways it's like, that's why let's have this conversation.
Yeah. So I definitely, yeah. Everyone's talking about how, that 08 team that won, it was a pretty hostile environment in the gym, like a lot of arguing, a lot of fighting. And then, I don't know, but, going to the 12 games.
Well, let's speculate.
I would guess after they won, there was just more of that going to the 12 games, and it might not have been as healthy. And then after the 12 games, when John came in, he wanted to change the entire culture. And I'm a big proponent of healthy competition, arguing. I mean, you saw Draymond Green punch that guy in the face at practice. Obviously, that's not good. That's
you were the first person I thought of. I was like, that's Tom right there, dude. He's out, dude, for sure.
Yeah. No, obviously that's not good. That's too far. But I do think there is, like some healthy arguing in practice. I don't want to go to practice. You go through the first half of practice where it's individual work. You're working on your routes and your skills and all that stuff. But then when you get on 6-on-6, it's game time, right? Like the guys across the net, they're not on my team anymore. And I think I wish the national team was more so like that, where when you go to 6-on-6, there's not as much friendliness, between guys on other teams. I mean, we're friends, so there's bound to be some, but
dude, I think shit talking is.
I want a second team. Like, I'm trying to fucking win. Fuck everyone on the other side, dude. I don't care. Like,
dude,
that's
100%.
fun for me. That's how you should play. That's my opinion. And me and Sparrow have butted heads on that for a while because it's like, he doesn't think that's the healthiest way. And that's kind of the only way I know. And so I just kind of push. And then I get yelled at. and then the cycle repeats.
Well, well, dude, it's interesting because I think there's like there's a healthy balance, and like I am 100% on board with you. And in fact, I think shit talking in some way is the healthiest form of respect. It's like I don't shit talk you if you actually suck, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you're
Yeah.
actually new and you're fucking up a ton, it's like I don't expect that of you. But if
Yeah.
you're someone who's like a pro who's been like playing at a super high level, it's like then I'm going to shit talk you because it elevates both of us,
Yeah. And
you
I'm
know?
trying to beat you, man. Like, yeah, I completely
And
agree with
and
you.
dude, for sure. And I it's just interesting because when I think of you, I think of, well, not this, but like, okay, for example, like I'll never forget when I first came into the gym and like Garrett Maututia, for example. Okay. I love G. He's awesome. When I first came in the gym, like if I fucked up a set or like a short serve pass or like anything, he would just have this look of like, fucking, there goes another fucking idiot middle, you know? And I always took it personally at first, you know? I was like, fuck, I hate that, you know? And our relationship has changed so much. And in some way, it's like, it's this unspoken, for me, healthy in the sense that like it did force me to want to like really hone in on those small skills that at the highest level, they just need to be like, you get a free ball, you need to pass that perfect. Doesn't matter who's on the court, like needs to be a perfect pass. End of story. So like I do that even now. It's like someone fucks up a perfect, like someone fucks up a free ball and like passes it over or like passes it at the 10-foot line. I'm just like, dude, what the fuck? Like that has to be perfect. And so I do think it's interesting because I think then the other side of it is like, well, you have to, there are healthier ways to communicate, but in real time, like we're all so competitive. If it can come from a place of respect, I like it, dude. I'm with you. I really like the idea of it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I think I have a couple of thoughts on that. So I want to come back to I'm helping out at Loyola right now while I'm waiting to go to China. But
Mm.
I think there's ways to go about it that severely change, the way it can be perceived. Not once, but over time. Like if you're playing, and like let's say you're going back to serve, and I say, all right, Tay, like put it on them, and then the next one you go back to serve, and I go, hey bud, don't miss. Like I'm saying the exact same thing, right? But if you hear don't miss over and over again versus hey put a good serve on them, it's a very different way of like receiving information. And so I think like Dave Lee, I remember he wanted me to help with the front one so he could think about like the Bic and the go ball, and I bailed. And he just lit me up. He's like, you fucking need to be there. Instead of being like, don't do that, he's like, I fucking need you here. I need you to do this right now. And it's like, I don't know if he realized at the time, but also like I totally bailed, dude. I like deserved to get yelled at, I was a kid and I needed to know that's the way things need to be handled. And I think that might be one of my biggest complaints in our gym is that little things like that, they don't get nipped in the butt. And so they kind of just linger on, and then they end up biting us in the butt later, in bigger moments or whatever it is in matches. But I think if we were harder on each other and held ourselves a little higher standard with those small things, I think it would be better for the team. But
well, and that's to your point, even in the example you gave right there, it's like that comes out of pure love. It's like, yo,
yeah,
do your fucking job because this is what's best for the team. Like,
yeah,
I need you to do this because I love and respect you. That's why you're next to me on the court on the national team right now. Make sure you do this when I ask you to do something as the commander in chief of the front row that middle blockers are, like I need you to fucking do it. I would have yelled at you too, bro, honestly. No, I'm just kidding.
No, so yeah, it's funny. Like, so I'm waiting to go to China. I'm waiting for my visa and everything. So I'm the volunteer assistant at Loyola here in Chicago, and so I train with them for like the first hour of practice when they do individual stuff. I get to get reps, which is awesome.
Nice.
And then the last
Is that
hour,
legal, bro?
Yeah, as a volunteer, yeah.
Yeah, that's just legal.
Yeah, I mean the coaches can like participate, and then
Yeah,
when they go into 6-on-6, I just obviously take a step back and they play. But kind of going back to your free ball thing, I'm starting to get on these guys about little things, and they get a little bit butthurt, for lack of a better word. They're like, "Oh man, why are you yelling at me?" And I'm like, "Dude, if I don't yell at you, if I don't say anything to you, like that means I'm giving up on you. That means I don't care about you, and that means I'm just gonna let you do you, and I don't care." So I feel like when guys are getting on me and they want me to do something, it's because they want me to be part of it and they want me to be better. Whereas when a guy just kind of doesn't say anything and just kind of gives you that, whatever, I think that's the worst thing in the world. So, but yeah, to your point, like those little things. I mean, we're passing down balls at practice at Loyola, and I'm like, man, we need to pass this perfect. It's a fucking free ball. And the kid's like, oh, but this and this. I'm like, dude, no, just put it perfect, and that's it. There's no conversation.
Dude, man, like even just listening to you talk about it's such an interesting subject, dude. Like which way works better. And it's cool that you're getting to experience coaching a little bit, because I think there's always this disconnect as like being a player and we perceive a coach, and then like stepping into coaching and now how you perceive players. I think that's really interesting. I'm curious, like so that example you gave is like a great example, where I can imagine kids are just like, why the fuck are you yelling at me? Like, and I think about that too, where it's like, on one hand, when I'm playing as a player and I see someone like fuck up an easy ball, I for sure get pissed. On the other side of it, it's like, I do try to, because your boy's just super self-aware like that, I do try to think about like, how helpful is it? Like how helpful is it? Because on one hand, it's like, if it comes from a place of respect, like in my opinion, like I said earlier, like I think it can be really healthy, because it's like we already have a relationship. I'm holding you accountable. That's what good friends do in general in life. You hold each other accountable to stuff. So on the other hand, it's like if you come in as a coach and like maybe you haven't gained their respect yet in your situation, I don't know how not everyone fucking doesn't respect you. I'm sure that they do. But still, like that's such an interesting like dichotomy to be caught in, where you're like, on one hand, your ultimate goal is to like help these kids, and you have your way of doing it because that's what works for you. But then like, how do you handle some kid who just like, that's not how he handles it, or that's not how it works for him? Like, do you have to have sidebar conversations with people like after trainings, or like, I don't know. I'm curious how you navigate that.
Yeah.
Coach Thomas, how do you navigate that?
It is tough because, like you said, there is like an earned respect and like kind of a basis of a relationship. So I guess I'll start with like the player to player stuff. So I think the way it should work player to player is like you yell at me or I yell at you and we're getting on each other and things are getting a little bit heated. And then a coach has to step in and be like, all right, that's enough. And then at that point, we have to like respect our coaching staff, basically respect our elders and just be like, all right, fair enough. Like fine, fuck it. We're just going to drop it. And then maybe we'll talk about it after practice or whatever. But as a coach, what I do is like if I get on a guy, I really don't get on guys, especially at the college level for technical stuff, right? Like the free ball example. It's a free ball. I need that perfect. Like, yeah, I'm sternly telling you I need that perfect. But I don't get pissed at these guys for making mistakes, like hitting the ball out. And I wouldn't get mad at you either for hitting the ball out. But it's stuff like lack of effort, not being aware. We were doing a drill the other day. We're working on our systems, like the defense that Javi gave Team USA. We're implementing some similar stuff, and we're working on it for 20 minutes. And a kid comes into the drill. We've been doing the same thing for 20 minutes, and he doesn't look at the call and just kind of he's at the net in area 4 blocking and just totally misses his assignment. And I lit him up. And then afterwards, I'm like, guys, I don't care if you are, like doing the right things and you make the mistake of, like you're supposed to be in on the front one and then they set back and you pop with the front one. Like, I get that, right? Like you're trying to figure out your priorities, like you're thinking and you're working.
Right.
Or you get aced and 2 guys like run into each other going for the ball, between seams, whatever. But if the ball drops and no one goes, if you're not like paying attention to your priorities, then I'm going to light you up because those are totally controllable things. And so like
100%.
For me, it's more identifying those different things. Like if you miss a ball with bad hand contact and it goes out, by a couple of feet, I get that, dude. We're human. Volleyball is a game of errors. And that's why the controllables are so important, because there are those uncontrollables and you're going to lose points during a match. And so if you take those uncontrollables that you lose, whatever it is, 5 points, 8 points with missed serves and hitting errors and net touches, let's say. And then there's a ball that drops with no one going, a missed blocking assignment. And then, like a short serve and our middle isn't paying attention. That adds up to 11, 12 points. And now all of a sudden we're in an 8-point hole really quickly, And so that's like my opinion is like the controllable and uncontrollables and kind of identifying where it fits in that spectrum.
Very well said. I'll be honest. While you were saying that, I had this thought come to my head, and I was like, uh, when you're in a coaching environment and you're surrounded by other coaches, is there a little piece of you that's just like, the fuck are you talking about? And maybe we won't use your personal coaching staff. I'm sure they're not going to listen to this. Who fucking cares? But like in general, because I get that, dude. Even I was doing clinics like this summer. So when I took time off, I started doing a bunch of clinics, like middle blocker specific clinics, and also just like general clinics. And I loved it, dude. It was such a fun experience for me. But I also had, I had like hired some of them to just like come help out. And help out for me was just like do these things with the balls, like just do what you're told, not to be an asshole, but just like, that's not what I need you for. I don't need you to like help them with technical things. Like that's what I'm here for, like whatever. And sometimes I'd see a coach like try to like break something down or whatever. And I was just like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Like I have so much more experience than you. Like, why are you doing this right now? Like, what's your, I don't know. I'm like not phrasing this well, but like, because and you went to the Olympics, but because I'll put myself in that group for a second, like us high level players, there's not a ton of them who are, you know what I mean? Though there's not a ton of us that are coaching throughout the United States on the thousands of teams in a growing sport. And so like sometimes I'll enter that environment and I'll hear someone talking about coaching. They have like a little bit of an ego, or they have a little bit of that, like I got it. Oh yeah, I know that kind of stuff. I'm just like, no, you don't, dude.
You don't. You don't,
dude. And it's weird though, right? It's like on one hand, it's like, okay, like there's been successful coaches that never played at a high level, But then I'll tell you what, I'm working with Javier Weber right now, who's the assistant coach with the USA national team,
He's
3-time Olympian. Dude. He's fucking baller. And the best part, and to your point, he's on guys constantly. He reacts a little more like, he is stoic in the sense of like when you talk with him, he's your best friend. He's also holds you to a super high standard. He's the best, dude. I fucking love him. He's the best. But to me, what makes that relationship so much easier, apart from the fact that he's a good human being, that's huge in my department, but also like he has experience. So instantly I'm like, I already respect you. And then day-to-day training, it's like, now I respect you more. Yes, I can finally have a coach I can have like high level conversations with. And most of my coaching experience has not been the case. So I don't know. I'm curious now. You go to now you take all that, you come back to the US. You said when you were joining the national team, you didn't know anyone. These kids, while they have the most resources ever known to fucking human beings in terms of volleyball, still don't know who the best players of the world are. They don't know the best leagues. They don't probably watch that much international volleyball. We come back here and I'm just like, God, dude, like the USA, not USA volleyball, but volleyball in the USA system is just like, no one really had a good understanding of how to train kids. Like, God, it's just like, to me, it's sad.
So kind of getting back to where that all started, working with coaches that maybe I don't agree with. I haven't really had that experience. I haven't done camps and clinics like you. I've gone back to my high school a couple of times, seen my coach, my high school coach, and watched him practice, and I'm just like, holy shit.
Sick.
But it's not my place to correct these kids. It's his team.
For sure.
And it's whatever. But like Loyola, for example, we have John Hawks, who is Spera's assistant at UCLA.
Wow, he's at Loyola now.
He's the head coach. We have Scotty Kevorkian, and then we have Ali'i. And so as far as like volleyball players and knowledge go, I feel like they know what they're talking about. And Scott played professional. I don't think Ali'i ever played professional, but and obviously like Hawks working with Spera, he's been around and kind of knows.
Hawks has been around for a long time.
Team USA international game, and so it's funny. Like when we have conversations, I feel like because I'm the volunteer assistant, I shouldn't really talk a lot of times. I kind of just try and listen.
For sure.
And they're asking me questions, and I'll say something that they don't necessarily agree with, and they're super open. And so that's something I've noticed from them is like, I think I should probably be more open with the way I think about volleyball, because I'm coming in as a volunteer assistant, and I'm just here until I go to China, and they're like asking me all these different things and letting me take, I would say, a bigger role than a normal volunteer assistant would have. But I think it's also because they're high level volleyball people and they understand the game at a high level. And I mean, like, Scott Kevorkian was freaking good middle, bro. Like, he was good. And so I think I'm fortunate to get to work with them. I had one coach in Poland in Varsovia who I didn't think was very good, and then had Stoichev in Verona, who I think was, had all the right intentions, but I don't think is a very good coach. And then
What didn't you like about his style?
kind of like what I said about the way information is given, it was never do this, it was don't do this. And after 8 months of that, I just felt so defeated. I remember, dude, I remember we're doing a drill, starting side versus the second side, and the starting side's down halfway through the drill pretty bad. He stops the drill, walks into our huddle, and he goes like, you did this wrong, you made this mistake, you did this, and you fucked up this. And I looked at him and I was like, so what should we do? Like what do you want us to do? You just came in here and told us everything we did wrong. We all know that, right? Like you didn't give us any new information. And then he got mad at me. And I don't know. He was known for kicking guys out of practice. So I probably got kicked out.
Such a Tom thing to do, by the way. I love that, dude. Daddy stands up to him, dude. Yeah, you do, bro. It's sick.
Yeah, no,
that's like, but dude, you're yeah.
He didn't like me, bro. He didn't fucking like me.
I can imagine.
But then I played for Gerbich in Verona, and I mean Gerbich is in the GOAT conversation for setters, right? I mean he's incredible, and so like when you have that guy as a coach, I think it's similar to Javi, where you have just an instant level of respect, and then when you talk to him, you kind of feel like you're talking to a player because he was a player for so long. I mean, he played with Matt Anderson and Kazan, and so. Like you said, you kind of build on a relationship, and over the course of the year, he'd get honest in practice and stuff. And I never felt like he got honest when we didn't deserve it. Looking back, maybe the day of, you're like, "Oh, fuck you, coach." But then you look back at it and you're like, "Oh man, I think we kind of deserved it that day." And so yeah, I think people who were high level players not command that respect, but you kind of give that to them a little bit more freely.
Yeah, and dude, the whole thing about like making mistakes. I mean, you brought it up earlier about like the classic either like, hey, go hit your server, go hit your guy. Like a coach saying that as compared to like, hey, the last two guys have missed their serves, and like Javier is like, never 3 in a row, never. If you have to fucking underhand the ball, I don't give a shit, and we never make 3 in a row. And it's this weird thing, right, where it's like, on one hand, it seems so obvious that when someone tells you like don't miss your serve, like as a player with experience, it's that shit doesn't work, dude. Never works. Always fucks them up. It's terrible. On the other hand, Javier has explained, at least to me, in this idea of like, dude, this is what's best for the team, So like maybe I ask you to float serve the ball because you're going to put it in at a higher percentage because that's what the team needs. And it's this interesting balance. And I have the same issue sometimes. This last few years, like I've changed up my serve, and I think it's a little more deadly, but there's still a learning curve for me in like getting the toss right and like understanding what corrections I have to make. Like when it's too far in front, I need to float it. And like my brain's just processing like what's a perfect toss, what's too far to the right, like that kind of stuff. So I've been, like missing serves at like, it's been fluctuating. It doesn't feel super, super consistent right now. And it's tough because it's like, when I miss let's say first serve of the game, like set 1 first serve, I miss. Set like the next serve I go back for sure. I'm like, I can't fucking miss this serve, Like the confidence it gives me when I have a coach, and I've had them in the past who are just like, hey, just fucking hit your serve. I don't give a shit. Like hit your serve. It's so helpful because here's the truth, dude, is if I have that confidence from a coach, it sometimes gives me that extra confidence that I need. And then guess what? If I miss that serve and like maybe I'm not blocking well too or whatever in the first set, fucking pull me. I deserve to be pulled. Like I'm okay with that. It's so hard sometimes where it's like, hey, we need you to put this ball in. And now I'm thinking about putting the ball in, and now I'm like mechanically fucking up because now my arm is stiff because I'm thinking about just trying to place it in. But at the same time, this is like, I feel like I'm just going to go in circles, but like at the same time, it's like, you do have to have that in you. You have to have the ability to put your ego aside and be like, this is what the team needs right now.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I'll take that a step further. It's not a coach, like just talking about your serve, but kind of going back to Gerbich, he was the first coach I ever had that kind of just gave me autonomy to play volleyball. He was like, I remember this one day in practice, because he would move guys around, starting side, whatever. And he was like, okay, Tom, you're over here. And I was like, coach, you want me next to the setter or away from the setter? So if you don't know volleyball, there's 2 outside hitter positions. One is next to and one is away from the setter, right? And he goes, you're next to the setter. You're never coming out of a match. You're always there. Don't ever ask me that question again. And I was like, oh, sweet. And then after that, I felt super free and able to play. And so, like I said, going off the serve thing, but just the freedom to make mistakes and do those things and not be like looking over your shoulder like for someone else coming in off the bench. And so it's like it's kind of that weird balance because we're talking about don't miss that third serve, but also you want a coach who gives you all the confidence. And so like you said, there's a major dichotomy right there. And so like where is the balance? Like where is the right answer? And I don't know that there is one, but as a player, yeah, when you have a coach that's giving you that, like giving you freedom, giving you confidence, it makes you feel a lot better on the court. And for me, man, it makes me perform at a much higher level. And I think like on the national team, we switch guys in and out a lot, and there's not a lot of continuity. And it's different because we're playing all these matches in a row, and I get that. But I remember like my first summer on the national team and then that Olympic summer in 2016, my confidence was pretty shaky because I went to Resovia and I went from being the man at Loyola. I went to Resovia and we had like four Olympians as outside hitters. I mean, like four super high level players.
Who was it? Was Perrin? Perrin was on the team?
Perrin was there my second year. Second year was Perrin, Freddie Winters, Rosard, and Ivovich. And my first year it was this guy, Oleg Akram. So he's from Belarus, but he was nasty. And he was one of the starters. And then it was Penchev, me, and Thibaut Rosard. And so it was just like a bunch of high-level players. And what ended up happening was if I was playing well and I was on the starting side, I could play well for 5 weeks in a row, right? Never come out of a match. I could get pulled in a match in the 6th week. And then the next practice, I'm on the second side. And so as a player, you're like, did the last 5 weeks mean nothing? Like, did I not earn more leeway, like a longer leash? And so, and then same on the national team for me, especially early when I was younger, I think a little less mature, finding that role where it's like, I want to be a starter. Of course, like everyone wants to be a starter, right? You want to be a lockdown player. And then, I have Ron and Taylor, who are two of the best outside hitters in the world ahead of me. And so, if I wasn't playing well, I was pulled really quickly. And even when there was a period where right before I tore my ACL, where I was playing some of my best volleyball, and I felt like I was starting to, creep up at least. I don't know if I would say like, start to earn that spot, but started to creep up that ladder. And then I tore my ACL, and man, like that shit just fucked my confidence, like, 100 times over. But like when you have guys rotating in and out a lot, I know we got far from the subject, but just kind of like a coach.
I don't even remember the subject, dude.
Well, just like
be positive with your players. Let's pivot here for a second, dude, because I'm really interested because like when you tore your ACL, that was also the year that I had knee surgery. Was that the same year? We were both injured together, or was that different?
It was 2018. I know that. I don't know when you had. I think yours might have been the next summer.
Bro, there was a summer where it was you, me, DMC, and Tay.
That was my shoulder. That was my shoulder.
Fuck, dude, can you walk me through like some of the injuries you've had? Like that's so gnarly.
Yeah, so my first summer on the national team when I was just a practice player, I broke my foot and had surgery. And then that was like a 6 month.
How'd you break your foot?
Dude, Taylor Crabb sent me a ball from like off the court, and I was in 4, and I jumped to spike the ball, and I landed, and instead of like rolling my ankle, my foot like kind of went on top of itself. And so like if this is your foot, I broke the 5th metatarsal down here. It's called the Jones fracture. And it sucks because it's like really bad blood flow. So you can just let it heal or get surgery. And if you don't get surgery and try to let it heal, there's a chance that it won't heal because it has such bad blood flow. So I had surgery. So you didn't. And honestly,
wait. I didn't. I have to stop really quick. That's actually so crazy, and it explains so much.
What?
Like, you see these calves? Now you see what you don't see is what you don't know is that Tom and I have some serious fucking beef going on. We're both in the tiny calf gang. But the one thing you'll notice about my calves, Tom, do you mind putting your calves in frame so we can just get a side by side? I would really. Let's see if you can get your foot up there. My hip's going to cramp. All right, we'll get a photo of that. Oh, my hip's actually cramping.
Oh, dude, I'm not flexing either. I'm not flexing.
Dude, you're flexing. Don't even lie. Listen,
the whole time.
Dude, Tom and I have had serious calf beef for, gosh, the last like 3 years. So I want, for those of you listening, dude, if you're able to watch this, please let us know who has the bigger calves. I'll try to get a nice a nice side by side. I think this is a fair like shot to use because otherwise I would have just like really pampered up my calves, and like given them a nice rub before I took a photo.
If I had known that they were gonna do like a pull, I would put my calves closer so they just look bigger,
Yeah, but that's the thing about your calves from far away. You can even tell, dude. Close up, far away, you can just tell.
From far away, no, from closer they look smaller. From far away they look good, dude. That's kind of a weird thing about it, honestly.
Bro, the weird thing about your calves for sure is that you look proportional. The thing about fucking Daddy Big Bird over here is I just look like I got fucking chicken legs. But that's the thing. Daddy comes through, dude. It's like I look like I have chicken legs. We measured them. That injured summer, we measured them.
Injured summer, the injured summer we had like 8 weeks. We had like an 8-week program we did, right? Where we were like, all right, on this day, like we measured on day one, and we were like, all right, this day, 8 weeks from now, we're measuring. And I don't think any of our calves grew more than like.
I was just gonna say, dude, literally nothing. My calves probably atrophied, honestly. Yeah, that's really sad. That was really worth bringing up, so I appreciate that. But yeah, okay, so you broke your foot?
Yeah, so I broke my foot. That was, I would consider that like kind of a fluke injury. It was at the end of a really long Ron Larson training, so I was just real tired. And just jumped and landed wrong.
Dude, Ron Larson, king of the fucking excessive training, bro.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, dude, okay, we all, guys who have been in the gym for a while, I love Ron Larson. Like, he's just because he's himself, Yeah. But, dude, the, like, most old school training that could ever exist in USA volleyball, dude, I, like, averaging 2 hours, 45 minutes to 3 hours. Averaging.
Oh, I would say 3 hours, yeah.
Like 100%. It's fucking crazy. That's so crazy. But I don't think he's coaching the like. Basically, Ron Larson would coach like kind of the younger guys in college, but also like the team that didn't travel with USA.
We always had a group that would stay back and still train every day, and he was the one in charge.
Yeah.
Of the team when I was there.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So you broke your foot.
I broke my foot. Came back from that, and then I had. So then I played in Resovia for 2 years, and I went to Verona. And the summer after my first year in Verona, I tore my ACL. So I think that was June of 2018. Tore my ACL, stayed back the whole next year, signed in Verona for the next season, and then we were at the World Cup in Japan. And kind of what everyone told me about my ACL was that it's gonna feel shitty, and then one day it's just not, right? Like it's just gonna click, everything's gonna be fine, and you're gonna feel good again. And I really, like a week before this happened, I told our coaching staff, or I told AB and Tim, our strength coach and athletic trainer, I was like, I feel like I'm turning that corner, right? Like I feel like I'm getting there. They were stoked because I was, 15 months post-op at that point. That was a long fucking recovery.
Wow. And then why did it take so long? Is it supposed to take that long?
Dude,
ACL?
Yeah, it's not supposed to take that long, but because what we do for a living is jump and land, and it's, like the rotatory.
It's super
stabilizer.
Traumatic.
Yeah. And it's the leg, we all land on, my left knee. And also I use my patella as my new ACL, which is the longest recovery time. That's supposedly the best thing you can do long-term for your knee. And
can you choose patella? Like, do they have like I don't know. I'm guessing like if you go to a sperm bank, that you can like choose who you want your specimen to be. Do they have like specimen patellas just like in a jar somewhere that they're like, dude, if you want, you can get freaking, I don't know, Randy Newman's patella?
No. So what they do is they give you the option to you can use your patella, quad, tendon. You can use, my doctor didn't do hamstring, but some docs will, or you can use a cadaver.
Crazy.
But the cadaver one, you use their ACL. You don't use their patella tendon. You use their ACL.
Okay.
From a dead person. So I used my patella, and so that's supposed to be the longest recovery. But
bro, I don't want a fucking dead man's patella. What? Who's doing that?
Oh, bro, like if I did it again, I would use a cadaver, I think.
You want that fucking dead body patella? Dude, that thing's been rotten in a body.
Oh, no, dude. It's just waiting.
It ain't got no soul.
No, it's ready for me. Dude, it's going to take over my body. I'm going I feel like two people. What if that person had, you know, like big, strong knees, you know, like, and they're just a monster.
Dude, but it doesn't the body just start like deteriorating after you die? Like, isn't that the whole
I
point?
mean,
It
yeah,
just
I
like
don't know.
eats itself into bones?
I don't know the technicalities of it, but I'm sure they wouldn't put
All right.
like they wouldn't like dig up a body in a graveyard, you know? Like it would be like a
Hey,
medically
Tom, who
preserved
you want,
body.
huh?
Hey Tom. No, so then yeah, I used my patella and yeah, it was a long recovery. It sucked. And then we were playing against Poland. We were in Japan for the World Cup, and I was in area 4, and the ball was kind of landing close to the net, and I dove for it and tried to like chicken wing it backwards because the net was right here. So if I hit it forwards, it was going to be on a play, right? So I tried to chicken wing it backwards, and I landed with my arm like this, and my arm hit first, and so this was back here, so there was no way for it to go farther back, and so my arm hit, and just like my shoulder just popped right out the front of my shoulder. And
Oh,
yeah, it was like stuck there on the court. I couldn't get it back in. The doc tried putting it back in on the court. He couldn't get it in. And so
was it super painful?
I was more in shock. It wasn't pain. It was pretty
Yeah.
dull pain, but I like my arm, dude, my arm was like pinned against my collarbone. So like imagine my arm, like if this is where it is now, like imagine everything's just here. So like my arm's here. I can't move it. My fingers are starting to tingle. I'm starting to like lose feeling in my hand and my fingers. And they're like trying to put my arm back in place, and they couldn't do it. And so then they took me outside. What they do is they have you lay on a table like face down, and so your arm's hanging. And the doc like got on the ground and just grabbed my arm and pulled it, and then it like slipped into place.
Do they yank it or do they just like slow and steady?
He kind of like grabbed it and just like put his weight onto it, and so you just have to like kind of pull it off because your shoulder is like holding your arm in its socket, like in place,
Right.
Shoulder socket. And so like,
yeah,
all that stuff's still going on, but now it's over here. So it's weaker at that point. So he has to pull it so that it kind of releases and then it slips right back into place.
Oof. And then right afterwards, it was just like, so now it's time for surgery.
Yeah. So then you can do, when you do that, I had what's called a Bankart repair where they repair my labrum and essentially like just close my shoulder back up because it got opened up. You can try and just recover by rehabbing, but because all we do is go into external rotation, and that's the vulnerable position where it can pop out again, everyone was like, I don't think that's the best idea. And
dude, what was that like for you mentally? Like,
dude,
like how do you go from taking 15 months off, you come back, and now you have to get fucking shoulder surgery? Like, I would have been crushed.
Yeah, no, it's not a like great place to be, man. Mentally, physically, obviously, it sucks.
I mean, just take me through like the first 15 months, or like let's say even like the first little bit of time recovering from the ACL. Like, was that tough for you mentally?
Bro, the ACL was way harder than the shoulder, way harder. And I think it was because, well, so you do the ACL, right? You have the surgery. You can't start treatment for whatever, a couple of weeks, a few weeks, because it's just a trauma. But every time you would stand up after my ACL surgery, and you would go from being like horizontal to vertical, I would feel like the blood kind of go through the trauma, and I would like it was just like this deep stinging pain. And dude, I remember like right after my surgery, I was trying to shower for one of the first times. I like couldn't get in the shower. I couldn't do anything. I just like started fucking crying in the shower. Dude. Like, I mean, as athletes, man, our body is everything. And it's like I couldn't even clean myself, bro. I felt like it was so low. I felt so shitty about myself. And I mean, all I wanted to do was play again. And like I said, that was the summer. That was when I was playing my best ball. And so it was really hard
like
for me.
A sponge bath service? Would you end up doing for showering?
Sponge bath? No, I mean, I was taking baths, but like the girl I was with at the time was helping me. Like,
okay. So you had someone helping you. You weren't just alone in the woods.
Yeah, but
okay.
At that point, I was like trying to do it myself because I'm super stubborn and try to do everything myself, and I don't like asking for help. And kind of, I feel like everyone kind of gets like that when you have an injury. And yeah, so I remember like just crying multiple times, man, just breaking down and being like, fuck, like, what am I
Yeah.
doing? Should I stop playing? And
That's what the oxy's for, baby. That's
they
what
didn't give
those
me enough.
pills are for, bro. Suppress that. They didn't give
They
you
did
anything?
not. No, they did, but they didn't give me enough. And the other thing is, I shouldn't say they didn't give me enough. The thing is, like, after surgery, when you're on those heavy painkillers, you're so dull, and like, I don't know what it is, but if it's the anesthesia plus the oxys, like, man, I just couldn't like get out of the fog, and so you really try and get off
Whoa.
those drugs as fast as you can,
Dude,
because
you know
you're
what?
like
Let me
you also can't shit, bro. I didn't shit for 5 days.
Yeah. 5
I was,
days?
I was plugged up, bro.
For 5 days?
Yeah, dude. Surgery plugs me
Dude,
up. Yeah,
yo, that's wild. But you know what's is interesting about those pills? They are very addicting, I'll tell you that. Because like when I had knee surgery, they gave me oxys. And I'll be completely honest, I'm very familiar with was very familiar with painkillers, just was. And and I no doubt abused them
yeah,
because I just like feeling good and like and lie. Honestly, I like lied and said that like they got stolen so they'd give me more because I was like I remember Brian Cook had like a hip and a knee surgery at the same time. And he told me, he's like, dude, he's like, you have to stay at least for the first like 4 or 5 days. You have to stay on top of the pain. Like, don't let it come in because once it
yeah.
hits,
Like,
it's
don't
like
miss the
the
window
worst.
to yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, perfect. I'll take double what it asks me to take on the thing. And I didn't read that you're supposed to take like one pill or two pills every 6 hours. So I was taking two pills every like 2 or 3 hours. And I kind of fucked up on the directions. And I'll never forget, like, yeah, I felt fantastic. I fell asleep in my crutches, standing up. My brother has a video of it. It's fucking embarrassing. I was like living with my brother on his couch in his apartment in Torrance, California. It was like, I don't know what I was doing. But I'll never forget, like, going to 4 days later, going to a movie in a movie theater. And I had my first ever like panic attack. And I'd never had a panic attack before, but I was just like, I just felt like so awful, and I was like so deep in my body. I was almost like looking at myself in third person. I remember just feeling like so crazy, and that's when I was like, stop being a fucking kid, Taylor. Like, don't be fucking stupid. Don't abuse this shit just because it feels good. Like, grow the fuck up. Like, that was the first time it hit home because your boys loves a silly goose time, dude. And I've learned a lot about myself in that time, but it's just, yeah.
That was actually a question I wanted to ask you. We can get back to this conversation, but I feel like the arc of you as a player has changed quite a bit over the course of your career. Like the Taylor Averill that went to UC Irvine, then went to Hawaii, joined the national team, to the Taylor we know today. Like, very different people along the way. And so,
What do you mean?
I mean, dude, like you're still like a huge goofball, but man, I don't know that anyone takes like recovery, taking care of their body, all that stuff like more serious than you do, right? Like they might take it the same amount, but I know you like really prioritize that stuff, and I feel like that's been a pretty big change in the way you like approach this, as like a professional. And what caused that change over the course of your career, do you think?
Wow. I mean, yeah, I think just aging, bro. Like, what can I say? Like, I think I just had a really hard time recognizing what my priorities were in life. And the truth is, and like I've talked about this on so many different podcasts because I'm hoping also to like connect with maybe kids or people who are listening to this who like have those same feelings. Like, I had a really addictive personality. I got addicted to volleyball, right? Like we all did in some way. And I also had a like couldn't manage feeling like I want to feel good and do whatever I want all the time. I was super privileged, dude. Like, I grew up super privileged, like a middle class family, and like, like got to do what we were, in the sense that, like, we got to do what we loved. And so that's all I cared about, was doing what I loved. I also loved feeling good and having fun with my friends, and that was smoking weed and doing whatever. And so I just didn't learn how to prioritize those things. And when you're successful at something, it's like, oh, these other things don't matter. Like smoking weed or drinking and having fun, like partying, doing whatever I want. Like, that's not affecting volleyball. Volleyball's still great, and I'm getting good grades in school. Like, who fucking cares? And then, well, you get in trouble enough, and eventually volleyball gets taken away from you, and that'll definitely kick you into high gear. Where I got really lucky, honestly, is I was just a natural jumper, natural athlete. And so when I did get kicked off the team at Hawaii for the second time, it was real. And a part of my comeback was like, I'm going to redefine my body. I just happened to meet the right people at the right time. Like Daniel Marchong, a guy who like changed my perspective on movement and really unlocked my athletic capability. And that sent me down the path of addiction in like a really healthy way. And I think that's what kickstarted ultimately me starting to grow up a little bit is I was like, oh, I can get addicted to healthy things. And now I'm at the point where it's like, I'm just addicted to feeling good, like in a
Yeah.
healthy way. Like it's so funny. Like even after games now, it's like such a classic thing, right? You go overseas and it's like, you win and like then you go to your like local bar in town, or maybe you go to dinner and you have some drinks and maybe you have 3 or 4 or 5 drinks and it's like you're just buzzing around and having a good time. Now, dude, I'm like, I don't even bother because I'm like, yo, dude, what am I gonna do? Like I'm gonna go have a couple of drinks. Well, I'll say this, it's a little different when you're single because I have a girlfriend. It's just like, what am I gonna do, dude? Like go to a bar and like get buzzed and then have to take a fucking taxi back to my house and then go the next morning and then wake up at 11 and like give a shit, dude. You even seen it on Instagram. I just posted it today, dude. I'm chopping wood, baby. I live in the forest. Like this is sick to me. Like now I'm like all about like, trying to do great things. And now again, like I really, really, really struggled with, I don't want to call it addiction, but like really, I don't know, like prioritizing what's really important to me. And so it took me a long time, probably more than most. Like you are a really responsible kid. Now granted, you also like to have a good time, like fucking most of us for sure. But for myself, it was just like out of hand.
Yeah. Too good of a
for
time.
sure. And yeah, and even to this day, bro, it's like I constantly keep myself in check. And what I do for myself now is I don't allow myself to get in those situations. So like with most things, right? It's like if I had surgery today and I knew I was going to have pain pills, like I would have someone else hold on to them. Or for example, like that's why I don't put myself in a position to like go out and get drinks and do those things, because I'm not a casual drinker either, because like I'm 100% in everything I do. So it's like if I go to have a drink, it's like let's go fucking get drunk and have a good time. And there's nothing wrong with that occasionally, bro. Personally, like I don't mind doing that. I'll have a great time if it's people I. No, I don't even, dude, honestly, I don't even think about it. Like it's like I don't know how to say this. It's like with like people I really love. Like if you were playing in the Polish league and we were playing against each other and you stayed here for a day, like let's go drink, let's go have some fun, let's go. Like I would love that. But like I don't just need to do it because let's go do it. And so I do. Sometimes I really haven't. I don't even know if I've drank it at all since I've been here for the past like, month. Yeah, because I just don't, and a big thing I feel so blessed in a strange way is like doing this podcast. It's been like super motivating, and like I'm building this Middle Blocker Academy. I started doing one-on-one mentorship. Like some of these things have directed my focus in such a healthy way that I'm getting addicted to it, and it feels good. It feels like I feel more fulfilled, and I think that's when I was younger, it was just chasing like not cheap highs, but they were in a sense, I guess. And now it's just like I've learned what moderation looks like to me, and moderation to me and to you and to other people looks completely different, But like that's the beauty of getting older. You just understand yourself better, and like So Daddy's found his recipe, dude. He's found his recipe and he's making a cookbook, Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. What is interesting though? I wanted to bring this up earlier, not to keep making it about volleyball, but I remember when Milan Markovic came in the gym. You made me think about it when we were talking about like going back into college, and I fucking loved that guy, and you did not fucking like that guy, and quite honestly, a lot of other guys didn't like him, and it's such an interesting thing to talk about, because for those of you who don't know, Milan Zarkovic is the assistant coach at University of Hawaii. He was there when I was there. I think he's the godfather of volleyball. I love him so much. I love his personality. I love his style of training. It is completely the opposite of how volleyball in the USA is trained, but more so just like how we do it in the Team USA gym. And a lot of guys, I don't know, 3, 4, or 5 summers ago, he came in, and maybe 3 or 4. And he came in and like kind of took over for like a couple weeks, ended up doing like a younger group team that went off to somewhere. But a lot of the older guys were not having his style of training, which made me really sad. But I wanted to hear a little bit of your experience on like why that was so tough.
So that was the summer I was coming back from my knee injury. So I wasn't traveling with the main team. And so that was the group I was training with. And so the part for me that was frustrating was I was in a really bad place, right? Like I'm coming back from knee injury. My knee freaking hurts every day. Like mentally, physically, I was a fucking wreck. And all I wanted to do was feel whole. And so every day I would have kind of like my own separate plan, when guys are coming back. I mean, even when guys who are on the senior team stay back with that group, they just do something, they do like things a little bit differently, right? Like they do part of training and then they go lift and then, kind of whatever. But I had a training plan for myself and then I had a jump count and then I would go lift and then I'd do treatment. And Milan was like, he wasn't really respecting like kind of what I was supposed to be doing, which wasn't coming from me, it was coming from AB and like physical therapists. And so that caused definitely a stir between our staff and him. And then also he would we'd be in like a huddle and he'd be like, guys are coming back from injuries and not doing everything. And like there was two of us, right? I forget who else it was, but like we know who he's talking about. And I was like, dude, I
think
can't
Matt Anderson was in that group. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if he was injured or not, but
no, yeah, I don't think he wasn't. Well, at least I don't think he was. But I was like, dude, I mean, like, I know you're talking about me, and I guess you want to like make generalizations, but I'm not going to do something you want me to do if the staff isn't going to approve it. Like, if they're not telling me to do it, and you want me to do it, I'm not going to do it. And so yeah, it was frustrating for me. But dude, also like, I don't know if it happened to you at all coming back from your injury, your knee surgery, but dude, it like kind of changed me as a person for a long time. Like I was pretty bitter. I was not that nice. Like if someone said something to me I didn't like, I would handle it differently than I might handle it today. And even the Olympic summer, I had a conversation with Eric and Kavika because I felt like our friendship on the team had kind of deteriorated. And I went to both of them separately and I was like, guys, like, what is going on, man? I feel like you guys have kind of left me out to dry here. Like, we're not cool anymore. And they both separately in different ways said kind of similar things. They were like, you have become this person who always has a response for everything. You always think you're right. Like, you don't listen, you don't take critiques. And it's like, it's exhausting to be around and play with. And like, I didn't realize it. And that was kind of like where I was at more so with Milan that summer. And then, like last summer, I was still coming back. It was my first summer after my shoulder surgery. And then, it was the Olympic summer as well. So things were a little higher stress. And so I think those things came out a little bit easier or like manifested in different ways. But yeah, dude, I don't know how you are, but when my body doesn't feel good and I can't play to the level I feel like I'm capable of, I get really frustrated and it manifests differently every time, but it's never like a healthy thing.
Yeah, that's really, really, really interesting. I personally didn't feel like it changed me in terms of like who I was or how I reacted to things. I more so just became like maybe hypersensitive to how I felt. And being like, hey, my body's showing me the signs of it's heating up and I need to cool it the fuck down. Like I need to stop, or whatever. And it's like, you're lucky enough when you're older, especially to have that kind of autonomy. When you're younger, if you're 19, it's like, and you have pain in your knee, everyone's looking at you like, oh yeah, you got pain in your knee,
Yeah.
Which is sad. And I think there's something to be said about changing that culture, I hope. But more so, I think that comes from understanding your body. And that's what you get with injury. You start to understand like, how things work, how your anatomy works, like just how your mechanics are and things you can do and you learn. I'm curious for you now, like you're pretty healthy right now.
Yeah.
Let's do this. We'll skip away from the Milan stuff. I was just curious. I actually forgot that you had like an injury coming back from. I did not see that. I just remember at that time, because I know Matt Anderson didn't like it either. And
well, dude, I mean,
it's just
also,
like, here are these.
Like, I don't want to just shit on the guy, but
shit on him, baby. That's what this is for. It's for the truth.
Our coaching staff would be like, hey, let's do this. He wouldn't really do it. And then, we'd be warming up and he'd be like, instead of arms to pepper, he'd be like, bump the ball to your teammate and then like touch the floor or something. And I was kind of like, I feel like I'm wasting time right now. Like I don't feel like I'm getting better. And it just seemed like every drill was like that. And practice was super chaotic. And I never felt like I went into a practice or I came out of a practice and I'd gotten anything out of it, I was like, oh, I avoided injury because we're hitting in 3 lines on the same net, you know, at the same time. Like it was just chaos.
I mean, that pretty much describes Milan's style of training. And it's so interesting because I'm very much the other way around. I prefer, and a part of it's because I'm a middle and daddy likes to touch the ball in other ways because, you know, he's got the best hands in the gym. That's also some beef we've had, but we settled it. I've beaten you in many setting into hoop competitions. It's fine. We don't need to talk about it.
We shouldn't, because it's not true. It's not true.
Wait, Tom. It's true, dude. I do remember you being the only one.
You still owe me a breakfast burrito. You still, to this day, have not paid me that breakfast burrito.
All right. That we're not sure about. What we are sure about, and if I need to, I'll find a way to get the receipt of the breakfast burrito that you bought me that I ate.
Because I pay. Because you won once and I won once, but I pay.
Whatever, dude. We'll never really know. But you know, I just think like when you look at like Milan's style of training or just that style, it is very chaotic. And I think here's what's hard about trying to introduce that at the highest level with guys who have built a routine. They like, it's like game day. It's like the same. Like I like to have a game. Do you have like for me, game day routines? It's like, I like to throw in the ball back and forth. There's things I do prep wise, meditation, visualization. Like I like some routine. Now it's different for me in practice. In practice, it's like, I don't give a fuck. As long as there's maybe like 30, 45 minutes of like some 6-on-6 that has things I can work on, like for myself personally, like being really disciplined with blocking and not reaching and like just rewiring my brain in certain ways and trying to work on commit blocking or whatever I'm trying to work on for that week. But for the most part, it's like, I want to touch the ball in unexpected ways. I want to move around. I liked that Milan trainings, at least when I had him as a coach, were like hour and a half max because it's high pace. It's not Pepper, like he used to call it masturbation. It's like, he's like, oh, you want to go over there and masturbate and just throw the ball back and forth and Pepper. And he's got something to it. But that's where I'm constantly trying to look for the compromise in it is like, there's definitely something to it. You're not getting better throwing the ball back and forth like that. Quite honestly, there are many different ways you can still get the same, in quotes, warm up. We're just so used to doing it a certain way. But then the other side of that is, maybe doing some of that warm up, especially as a tenured pro, it's like it starts to put you in the mindset of now we're training, now we're getting into this, and things are like the wheels are slowly turning, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know a lot of guys didn't like it, but made me sad, honestly, because I loved him so much.
I do remember you saying you loved the guy, but I'm pretty particular and I'm a pretty routine person in general. But I would say with that stuff, I mean, even Sparrow, he likes to do you know, like one-arm digging and then like footwork and all that stuff. And we don't just do normal Pepper for that long. And I've tried asking, you know, can we just do normal Pepper for 3 minutes? Like I like feeling the ball on my platform. I like setting the ball. I like digging the ball. Like I like getting my hand contact on. That's just part of my routine. And it makes me feel better later in practice. It's not like at least I don't think I'm doing it because, I just want to do it. And I'm like a little boy and that's what I want, you know, it puts me in a better place to get into training. So, I do like kind of certain routines going into training and practice.
You said you're a super routine guy. Do you have any like routines, even outside of volleyball, that are like super helpful or that you like stick to?
I think the most important routine I have in my life, I mean, I don't want to overstate it, is like waking up way earlier than I need to be up so I can let my body wake up. So kind of whatever I'm doing, like let's say I have practice or let's say I have to get up and like take someone to the airport. Like I will wake up, if I have 9 a.m. practice, I'll wake up at like 6:30 in the morning. I set my coffee maker at night. So when I wake up, the coffee is like just finished brewing. And so I don't have to make coffee. I just walk in the kitchen, pour myself a cup of coffee and I sit on the couch and I just wake up for like 30, 45 minutes. I catch up on sports, news, whatever. It's kind of like my time I set aside for myself. And it's like my favorite time of the day.
It's like cartoons when you're a kid, you know? Wake up, get those donuts going. And
you remember, you know, Fabian Jaeschke? You know who he is, the Polish national team setter for a long time, the setter for Soviet. So I lived my first year in Soviet, he was my setter. And I lived right next to the gym. And so we would have 9 a.m. I'm going to talk about French bulldogs, but speaking of, you guys can say hi to Rue.
Damn, dude, look at those eyes. Those eyes are popping. He looks like he's straight from a magazine, dude.
So
Sick. What's his name?
her name's Rue, but
Her name's Rue. Is that Rue?
ROO. So
I was positive I couldn't fuck that up. That's hilarious. Damn.
So Fabian, I live right next to the gym, and we had 9 a.m. Practice, like serve and pass another day in the match. So I would wake up, bro. I would wake up at 8:45 and just walk over. And I looked exactly like you'd expect me to look, like I just woke up. And so we like finished training, and he goes, "Hey man, what time did you wake up today?" I was like, 8:30. I lied. I told him 8:30, even though it's like 15-minute difference. It didn't make a difference. And he was like, "Did you eat anything?" And
Such
I was
a
like,
sick
no.
white lie.
Yeah.
So sick.
And so, did you eat anything? And I was like, no. And he's like, okay, man, like we're professional athletes. You need to wake up earlier. Make sure you like let your body wake up. He's like, what I do is I wake up early. And he actually had a French bulldog. The French bulldog's name is Gigi. That's what made me think of it when Rue walked out here. And he was like, I wake up early. I go and I like hang out with Gigi for 15 minutes. I have my coffee and I just pet her and hang out. And that's like my time to like wake up in the morning. And then I make food. Then I get ready to go. And so now for me, I was like, okay, I'll try that. And I tried it. I liked it. And then, so now I wake up early. I mean, even when I have like just morning lifting, I'll shower beforehand because it's like part of my wake up process. So it's like, wake up early, have coffee for 30, 45 minutes. I'll normally have like a cup and a half. And then I'll shower, I'll make food, and then we'll get ready and go. But that process takes.
You shower? You shower every morning?
Yeah.
You shower in the morning?
Yeah.
Every
morning before national team practice, every morning. Yeah.
Bro, that shit seems so backwards to me. This is an interesting subject because there are people who shower every morning regardless, and then there are people who just wake up out of bed. Look, here's what I think. And we're talking about daily, not just like one-off times. You're a guy who showers every morning. Help me understand, dude. You shower just to then get dirty like 2 hours later.
Okay. But volleyball is our job, man. Like, I think of myself as a professional. Like, would you go to like an office job having not showered in the morning? Like, I wouldn't. Like, would you go to anything not being clean? I wouldn't. And even though we're just going to get dirty, it's our job, and like we're presenting an item, and you know what I mean? Like we are that item, and so that's kind of how I feel about it. And
I don't like to think of myself as an item.
Yeah, you're right. But no, we're professional athletes.
I am though, dude. I'm so easily bought too.
We're presenting something, and we're we're independent contractors, like all that stuff. And so I think it's important to put like a good face forward, first thing in the morning. And like guys would come in the gym, in Milan this year, and like I would shower every morning. Guys would come in, their hair be all over the place, and I was like, man, just clean it up a little bit before practice, like before the thing. Like, this is our job, and that's how I feel.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I personally don't give a shit, but here's what I do like about what you said. And that I've actually found, because as you can tell, your boy's been like, as of recent years, much more fashionable, some would say. I'm starting to create my own style. Part of that's because of Ben Patch. Part of that's because of my girlfriend, whatever. I'm starting to love it. And here's what I think. For example, I put on clothes, like wearable clothes, to go to the gym in my car. I spend 10 minutes in my car. I go up to the gym. I take them off. I put on my shit. I take them back. I put these back on. Maybe I go to a restaurant. Probably not. Get some food. Come back to the house. Take these off and put my comfies on. So it's like I'm really putting on clothes, jeans and whatever. I want like some sicky jacket or sick pull. I've been super into collared shirts lately. Doesn't matter. I'll put on whatever, even if it's for 10 minutes. And a part of that to me is I do feel different when I wear things that make me feel a type of way. Whereas like the classic sports dude is like, he's got on fucking sweatpants and like a sweatshirt or something, probably of the team's gear or whatever, just like clearly doesn't give a shit, rolls out of bed, puts on his like comfy clothes and just like goes to the gym. And so where I recognize and I really like about what you said is I like the idea of creating, because I think what it does is it it's so great for your mind, right? If that's something to you, it's just like, I'm a professional, and to you, a professional, someone who showers and is clean and like shows up proper and like does their thing. Like, fuck yeah, like that's tight. But if we're getting rid of the like perceived notion of what a professional is, and we talk about the concept of like showering to then go get dirty 3 hours ago, I don't know if I'm fully on board with you. Other than, dude, I know I'm sweating. I know I'm sweating at night, bro. So wouldn't it make sense to then shower after you're sweating? Do you sweat? Do you have problems sleeping? What's your sleep like?
No, I'm a pretty good sleeper. I don't really sweat. I do have like pretty oily skin and hair though. So, I just feel like I'm a pretty oily person in general. So,
You got a full head though.
a full head of hair.
You got that full head. You receding at
Yeah.
all?
I don't know. What do you think, dude?
How are you handling it, dude? I'll be honest, I'm not handling it well. I started receding a little bit, and I also feel like I have thin hair. You got that nice lush. I got
I don't
that
do,
thin hair, dude, and I'm not cool with it.
I feel like my hair is it's kind of thin, but I have a lot, so it looks thicker, you know. And I feel like I got a little bit of the like widow's peak receding, but it's kind of been in the same place now for a while. Like I don't feel like it's moving too quick. So, but
No,
also,
you
dude,
got a nice.
sometimes I'm like, should I just shave my head? Not like with a razor, but just like go like a two, you know, just all the way around and
Dude,
just
honestly,
fuck,
my
you
like
know?
low key wet dream is me at a two, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
I first of all, I love that for you because you would actually look sick because you have like a normal shaped head. You have like a beautiful structure. You're always like just a very beautiful boy. You've got the
Dude, okay.
face that could pull off a short haircut.
Also, also though, I've had really bad acne, and even like around here, so I'm nervous too about like if I were to do that, would you be able to see like more acne bumps and stuff on my head? You know? So that's
have
like
you
one
have you
thing,
always had bad acne?
dude. I started getting acne. I went on. It was like I guess sophomore year of high school. I went on Accutane junior year. You know what that is?
Yeah, that's when you're serious about acne.
It's the strongest drug there is. And then
Yeah,
and dude, that stuff like fucks you up pretty bad. And then my junior year
like
of
your penis got
college,
smaller, or like what kind of fucked
no,
up?
no, no, that's not possible. So like you wouldn't even notice.
I love you. All right, so what happens? So what happens then?
Well, so like, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure Accutane, whatever the actual formal name of the drug is, I'm pretty sure initially it was like a really like it was a type of cancer treatment, but like very low level, like not aggressive, serious cancer, but like it just flushes everything out of your body, bro. And so you can't, like girls when they're on it, they can't get pregnant. You have to get blood work done once a month to make sure. I think it's your liver's handling it okay, and
Whoa.
like there's a much higher rate of suicide for people that are on it. So it's a really strong
So you
drug,
had,
and it like, go ahead.
so sophomore year you had it pretty bad then, and you got on Accutane, and what happened?
Yeah, and I mean, bro, like I went on Accutane my junior year, and no one who's 16 years old and has a face full of acne is like confident in themselves to begin with, and then like put Accutane in there, you just don't feel good about yourself. And then same thing, I went back on it my junior year of college because it got so bad, dude. After my first summer in the national team, it was like halfway through the summer, it started coming back, and I don't know, I didn't change anything, and it started coming back, and it wasn't like just pimples, bro. It's like a real deep stuff, and you know, your boy did not feel good about himself. I'll tell you that much. Like,
Yeah, was it
it,
was that super hard? Like, especially knowing underneath that is like such a beautiful boy.
just a
Is
beautiful
that
little
like
boy.
no, but I mean, I can imagine. That's why I'm so curious. Like, I can imagine too. There's maybe kids listening to this that maybe have bad acne. Like, I'm curious from you. Like, what would you have done different, or what? How hard was it for you? Like, how did you kind of overcome that?
The
Because
only
we all
thing
got
I
our
would have
things.
Yeah, the only thing I would have done differently is I wouldn't have like tried to pop everything, because I have like a little bit of scarring around here. I have like scarring on my chest and back too, but it's because I would always like pick at it and try and pop it, and then
Dude, I've been telling my girlfriend this forever. You're not supposed to fucking pop pimples,
yeah. I mean, I think there are like when
right?
you get the very superficial ones. I mean, I'd still pop them because I still get them like kind of around here,
Yeah, because that
and
shit
I
feels
go,
kind of good.
yeah, yeah. It's just like satisfying. Oh, dude, I gotta tell you something else. But then with like the really deep big ones, man, you have to like really like get in there, and it's so bad. And
Yeah.
I wish I would have just like kind of let it go, you know. And yeah, that's the only thing I wish I did differently. And the other thing is
Did it
like,
get in the way at all?
um,
Like
yeah,
get in the way as in like get in the way of you like approaching girls or like whatever you
oh,
were into
100%.
or
Yeah,
living your life?
dude, I did not talk to girls. No, like I did not talk to girls, dude. I didn't think. I mean, dude, I still have, I would say, like self perception issues with that stuff because of my skin. Like, I still am embarrassed by it
Mm,
for sure.
mm.
It's not an easy thing to think about and overcome for sure. But then I know when I see someone with acne, I don't really think anything about it one way or the other, you know. But when you're the one going through it, you think
Yeah.
it's really bad.
Dude, for sure. And I mean, we all got to live with it, and it sounds like you're handling it like pretty well, because it's yeah, like yeah.
I mean, at the time when you're going through it, it's really hard, and yeah, we all handle it differently. Now, I feel like I'm kind of on the other side of it, and whether it made me stronger or not, I don't know, but I feel like I'm a relatively good-looking person in general, but that's like I would say one of my biggest insecurities, man, is my skin. Like I'm not, it's pretty embarrassing for sure, and I'm not embarrassed to talk about it now, but it is like for sure one of my biggest insecurities, if not my biggest. You can't really, yeah,
Hmm.
you can't really see it on video, but there's like I
I
do
was gonna
have.
say, dude, this Zoom is you looking good right now, baby. Looking
No,
real good. Tell you
you
that.
can't really see it, but it's there for sure. So
Hmm.
yeah, no. What I was gonna say, I don't know what made me think of it. Oh, you're saying like that shit feels good popping, dude. I have this little it's called the endoscope tool. I don't know if that's the right name, but it's this little camera that you can like put in your ear and like get earwax out. And so it's a camera that like connects to your phone, and then you like clean it out. You can like look at your phone and clean out the earwax because I have a ton of earwax in my ears.
What?
And dude, it is the most satisfying thing when you pull up these earwax.
Yo, I'll be completely honest with you. Right now, I get all of my earwax out by putting in my AirPods.
Really?
Um, Dude, I have the like I don't know AirPod fucking Pro Max or whatever, the ones with the little like they do the noise canceling. Are those the ones you have in right now that have like the little bead that kind of like
Yeah.
yeah, those guys, dude. Inside of mine, it's embarrassing. It's
Yeah.
gross actually. It's more gross than embarrassing. It's fucking nasty actually. It's nasty. And because
Yeah.
I don't normally clean my ears because I just am like in some way, and I'm a pretty open-minded, curious cat, but like in some way I'm like, doesn't nature just like have a process for this? It's the same how I feel about acne. It's like, yeah, it comes, but then like if I don't touch it, it goes away. So is nature just doing its process?
Okay, with
Like why would I need
earwax, I
to?
think with earwax, I think you're right. Like it's supposed to protect your ear canal, to a certain degree. So I'm exposing my ear canal, and no, I understand that. But dude, you you've never had like a single pimple, bro. Like the people like you piss me off because I feel like you don't do anything to your skin and you have perfect skin. Like that shit bothers.
Bro, wait, let's talk about a couple things. Let me join you in the flaws department. First of all, I used Clearasil, those wipes. I had like classic. You're right. I didn't My dad actually had pretty bad acne, so I had the genetics for it, but I didn't get it super bad. You know what I actually deal with now is I get the pimples like on my legs. Uh and they're like if you wear compressions and you take them off, I feel like most athletes understand this, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's just me. But like, I don't know if it's from the compression or whatever, but I get like clogged. They're not like pimples, but they're like,
Pores.
they're,
Isn't it
yeah,
called
the pores get,
like what is it like the I don't know. It's like folliculitis, like the hair is it what the follicle? I feel like I'm messing
exactly.
this. It's like it's
Yeah.
inflamed, right?
Folliculitis, baby, for sure. I got that
Folliculitis.
folliculitis, baby. Yeah, look it up.
Folliculitis is the infection and inflammation of one or more hair follicles. I think that's common from
Yeah.
exactly what we are talking about.
Dude, and
Yeah.
I get it pretty bad. I don't like my girlfriend's much more aware of it because she has insane skin, is just like aware of that kind of stuff. And I just like don't really care. But I started to become way more aware of it. And now it's like, dude, this is so annoying, especially when I'm like, daddy's at like pale level ground zero almost, you know? Like every time I come to Poland, it's like, we got to embrace that paleness, dude. It's coming. And as someone who grew up in California, it's like, I've never seen the skin on my ass look the same in conjunction with the rest of my body. It's always been a nice, clear separation of good times, you know?
It's been a
Like,
nice
like
line.
it's been a beautiful tan line for, 28 years of my life. And then I came to Poland and it's like, well, that's not there anymore. And so it exploited a lot of things on my skin. I also have tons of moles, dude. Like my back is littered with moles. So I've also
Do
had
you
skin
think,
issues. And yeah,
have you had any like skin cancer scares? Because you are a guy, dude. You spend a
yeah,
lot of time out in the sun. Like you
yeah.
drink
I
that
mean,
shit in.
look, daddy gulps it down for sure. There's no doubt. But I would like to say I'm getting a lot better. I'm not. Yeah, skin cancer is coming for me. I actually had to get a mole removed because I did have skin cancer. I've had melanoma twice.
Wow.
Not like I don't know exactly how it works, but I've had like soft core melanoma twice where it's like,
Mhm.
hey, you got it. We need to take it out right now and you're going to be
Mhm.
fine. So it's not like a big deal, but it left ugly scars, dude. Like I keloid pretty bad. And I actually had that from, I don't know if you keloid at all. And for those of you who
Yeah.
don't know, keloids basically just where like the scar kind of like swells up and like mine turns purple. I have it on my shoulder. You probably
It
can't
like
really see it
almost
at all.
turns
It
a
doesn't
scar like
matter.
turns inside out. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. And so, like, I got one on my back, so now I have this long mark on my back. I have it on my calf, and dude, the mole was like no bigger than I don't know, like barely my pinky nail. Like, if a
Yeah.
circle could fit inside your pinky nail without touching the actual bed, like it's so small. I was like, what a
Yeah.
stupid way to describe how big it was. But whatever. Like it was super small, and the scar is like so long, bro. It's like I don't know, 3 or 4 inches long, and it's thick and gross. And daddy's calves have that really nice kind of egg shape to them, and now it's just
Well,
like put a well, no, come on,
well, I mean,
it's
yeah,
put a huge
for
crack in
scale,
the
yeah, it's
egg,
about an
dude.
egg. Yeah, it's about an egg. Yeah.
No, it is actually. It is like a little tiny egg, honestly. And now I got a cracked egg on my fucking leg, dude. And it's tough. It's bad. And so I've had like always been like, oh, I just don't have good skin. Like I
Yeah.
also had I feel like I'm trying to overcompensate to be on the same level as you. So I'm apologizing for that. But I also what I'm trying to say is I also got fucking skin issues, dude. I've had that since I was a kid. Like
Yeah, dude,
moles.
and
Like I
that's
have
what I
this
mean.
mole
Like,
on my neck. It's like fucking gross, dude. Like
well,
what
yeah, and
girl's gonna want
that's
to
the
slide
thing.
her tongue on that nasty little spider I got there? Because that bitch grows hairs, dude. This thing grows hairs
Yeah,
too, and I gotta fucking shave it.
yeah, yeah. You're like, I got this weird fetish. Can you just lick right here?
Dude, a mole fetish, man. What a lucky guy I would be to also have a mole fetish, dude. Like 100% for sure.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
dude, that's funny though, because like it's true. Like I don't know anything about your, like your insecurities. I only know mine, and so I always think, I think someone like you, I definitely am like, man, I'm very jealous of like how clear skin you have. Like it's very visible to me because it's what I notice because I have that insecurity. So yeah, we all kind of just go through life looking at things through our lens. But yeah, I think someone said, if everyone could put their problems in a pile and pick one, everyone would take theirs and run away. You know what I mean? Like you just don't know what everyone else is going through. So it's super easy for me to be like, oh, dude, you have such a nice skin. You have no problems, man. You're perfect, Taylor. And then you know what? You're not perfect, bro.
I'm not, dude. I'm not, dude. I'm not. And you know what though? Like, and that's it's so funny. I would say the same about you. It's like, what a handsome, like super genetically gifted who also works hard for it. I'm not just saying it's just your genetics, but like you got sick genetics. You're like very much a sculpted, proportional man, with a beautiful smile, a good personality. It's like, look at this fucking guy,
Small
dude.
dick.
Yeah, with a small dick, which means you're real sensitive, and I'm with you. I'm in that fucking tiny dong club, dude, and I feel
Tiny
you, bro.
pecker.
Like,
Tiny peckers and
yeah, dude, who
calves,
fucking
dude.
cares? But do you know it's so funny? You know what's so funny, bro? Is like you're totally right. Like, right, we all have our like little insecurities, and I've just noticed as I've gotten older, and huge surprise, like you just start really fucking not caring anymore. Like really not
Yeah.
caring. And I look back at myself, and it's like I was definitely a pretty carefree kid. I was the kid who wasn't like afraid to do anything, talk to anyone about anything, whatever. But like low key, I still could not process some of the things that I had when I was a kid that I was super insecure about. And I'm
Yeah.
always just like, God, if only there was like a magic pill you could take as a kid. And it's just like you could age 15 years ahead for like a day and be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
none of those things mattered at all. Who fucking cares, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
What a bummer. This was really great. Just quickly, where are you headed? I know, I don't want to like leak anything, but yeah, never mind. We'll talk after this podcast. But I do want to know, like, I had heard China might not like be doing their thing this year. Is that true or not?
No, I mean, dude, it's like it's been so back and forth because last year was such a mess. But I mean, like Bednorge is there, Juan Serena is there. Savi leaves tomorrow. Like I just before this
Okay.
podcast, I sent all my visa stuff in. So like what happened was they were saying, oh, we're gonna start, it looks like late November, early December season, and then all of a sudden they decided the end of October, and that was like a couple weeks ago. And so then everything's just been kind of a scramble since then, And so everyone's trying to get everything moving. All the Italian guys and like Ben Norris has been there for probably like a week now, maybe more, and it's 10-day quarantine. So yeah, he's got to be getting close to being done, and then but it's just been kind of a scramble, bro. That's been the issue. But what's been nice for me is I'm helping with Loyola, so I'm still training like 3-4 days a week volleyball, which when we don't have Team USA or our pro teams, like it's hard to be like getting training, getting some good training.
And also, you got a girlfriend out there too, right?
Yeah, she just walked by here. Yeah.
Dude, that's fantastic though, because that time you get to spend like with someone you love like that is so awesome and like so valuable, especially because we're gone for most of the year. Yeah, and also, just for those of you who don't know, China's like the fucking gold. I know you got to go, but China's like the gold mine for contracts. You get paid like a season's worth in like, what is it, 2 months or 3 months? How long is the season?
They told us we're going to be done January 15th, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
Dude, I hope it goes well. I hope it works out. And if you finish early, consider coming on over to Poland, dude.
Dude, yeah, I know. My agent was talking to me about that, and I'm just like, dude, I want to just get to China and like do my thing before I make any other decisions. I don't want to like commit to something else before I even, get to China. So
yeah. Is China like giving like? Is China just it's just for the money, bro? Why else you go to China, right? Let's be honest.
I mean, because it's a
contract. Such a good deal, dude.
I've earned, yeah, and that's like, I put my time in Italy, and I put my time in Poland, and I got this offer, and I was like, I want to do this, man. Like, it's definitely a big culture change too. So I'm excited about it. I'm really happy Max is going to be with me. I think that's going to help a lot.
That's so sick. That guy's been so MIA, by the way. Fucking damn. I've had messaged him so many times. He didn't hit me back, bro. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Is he mad at me?
Dude, you got to message him on WhatsApp. I don't know why he doesn't respond to iMessage.
I do, bro.
Oh, okay.
That's so sad. That's my own personal issue. I don't know. He's ignoring me, bro.
No, he is, dude. He's just kind of in the wind, though, Like sometimes he's there, sometimes that's Max. Same with Ron, too, Like they just do their thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you too. Sometimes you too.
That he's not in the wind, dude. If he is, he's got his fucking wings on and he's flapping, bro. I'm easy to find, dude. Get out your BB gun. I'll be sitting on your fucking local landline. You know what I mean? I'm waiting for you, dude. This was awesome, Tom. I love you so much, and like this was really helpful.
Yeah.
It's been our relationship. It's like. Yeah, for sure, dude. And like when we were both injured, that was the first time we like really got to know each other. And like I love having friends like you. In some ways we're like very different, and in other ways we like really align, and like we've cultivated what I think is still like a really beautiful friendship and relationship. And it's always special for me. So, like you said,
we've been on the team together for a while. We like
never really hung out or
wouldn't talk to each other for a long time.
Yeah, for sure. Because I thought you were an asshole when I first came in. I was like, look at this fucking asshole. Because you're intense, bro. You're an intense guy, especially on the court, Yeah. And then like getting to know you, I was like, oh, fucking Tom's funny as fuck, dude. Like I love this guy.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate you not like just sticking to that asshole kind of like first judgment. So
nah, dude, that's the best part about getting to know people, dude. If you can put the time in, like, and so this has been really great. For just for you, if there's anything you'd like to plug, this is like your time. How can people follow what you're doing or be a part of what's going on?
Man, I'm not like I'm not on social media. I would love to start a podcast at some time too. Like, I think this is awesome. It's a great, like, kind of free form way to like communicate and, be yourself too at the same time. I think it's like a super unique platform.
Baby, if you got any
So
ideas too, we can run more episodes. We'll definitely have you on again. Like this is,
yeah,
dude, this is great. Yeah, I love it.
yeah, no, I don't have anything to plug. I mean, I'm on Instagram and that's pretty much it. Like, I have a TikTok, but I think I have like 6 followers. So I just use it to send
Beating
shit to
me.
my friends. Yeah. So
Yeah.
no, nothing, man. But yeah, I love you, buddy. It's great to talk to you. I hope you're
Hell
well.
yeah.
I'm gonna take Rue on a walk here and get us out of the apartment so they
Mm-hmm.
can show it. All right, say bye, Rue.
See you, buddy.
Bye,
All right.
buddy.
I love you, buddy. Thank you so much.
Peace.
Peace.